Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to get this makeup look right here. It's very glittery, silver eyeshadow, very dramatic. I wear this look all the time. It's honestly my favorite makeup to do. You can wear it without fake eyelashes like I did here. I actually forgot mine that day, or you can wear it with. It really adds to the drama like I did right here. I'm going to show you some videos of what this looks like and let's get going. Okay, the first step is to prime. So I'm using the Mary Kay foundation primer. It has SPF 15 in it. Then I'm taking the Mary Kay Time Wise 3D matte foundation, about a quarter size amount. I am shade Ivory C110. And I call this my tribal marks because I'm swiping it all over my face, giving myself stripes. I really want full coverage here because I was going to a formal event. Now I'm taking the IT Cosmetics foundation brush to buff all of that in. Then a blending brush by Mary Kay here to get my hairline and my jawline. I want to make sure everything's blended. Mary Kay Perfecting Concealer. Woo! Look how full coverage that is. It still shocks me to this day every time I wear it. I really want full coverage here. And don't be alarmed with how white it is. I'm in the shade Light Ivory, but it's really going to brighten my face. So I'm heavily concentrating it on the center because that's where you want the light to hit. Then a wet blending sponge to blend all of that in. I'm blending it all the way up even to my temples because I want that lifted effect. You can see here I made a little mistake, blended too much. Just add a couple dabs of concealer and keep on going. Now I'm taking some translucent powder by Mary Kay, and I'm heavily concentrating that on where I put that concealer. I don't want any creasing, and I want my foundation and concealer to last all night. Then a big fluffy powder brush to get the rest of my face. Now a spoolie to comb through my brows. Want to make sure all those hairs are going in the same direction. The BH Cosmetics Flawless Brow Trio is amazing. It has a brow pomade, which I put on first, and then a darker powder and a lighter powder. I use the lighter powder in the inner half of my eyebrows, and then the darker powder more focused towards the tail of my brow. You want that ombre gradient effect like I'm doing here. And the powder also helps set the pomade. Since it's waxy, you don't want anything moving around. Then I take a spoolie and comb through all of that just to make sure everything's seamless. Now the Ulta Brow Gel. This is clear. Again, since I did use a pomade, I want to make sure everything stays eyebrows slipping and sliding. Then I take a spoolie because gels can sometimes make my eyebrow hairs hard if I don't comb through them, and I don't want that. Now the Mary Kay eyeshadow primer as a base. And next I'm going to be using the Mary Kay Pro palette. I have all the eyeshadows, and so I'm using the lightest matte shade first to set that eyeshadow primer. Then this is kind of a sand color. It's matte, and that's going to be my first transition shade in the crease. Then the lightest brown shade, that's going to be the second transition. Then I'm taking this crease brush in the lightest gray shade. I'm slowly going to start building up to black. So you'll see me go, I started with light brown, then I'm going to go with light gray, and then dark gray, and then black. So I'm using light gray first. And I drag the grays and darker colors in. Now I'm going with the Lorac Pro 2 palette and using that light gray. You can see here I'm angling the eyeshadow up towards the tail end of my brow, again focusing on that lifted effect. Then the darker gray in the Mary Kay palette, again angling those shadows up and bringing the darker colors in, dragging them in towards the center. Back to the Mary Kay palette using the black, and you'll see I'm dabbing. You don't really want to sweep black because that will be hard to work with. And still dragging those shadows in. This kind of creates an outline for the shimmer's gonna go. Now I'm using this Dose of Colors palette that was a collab with Karen E. And I am taking the black glitter shadow and going right on top of all of that. This is a Stila liquid eyeshadow. I believe it's called Molten or Molten Lava. It's a silver and black glitter, and I'm dabbing that on, and since this is liquid, it's gonna dry kind of fast. And so I immediately take a flat shader brush and blend that out. Going back in with that Mary Kay dark gray and that crease brush, I'm going to go on top of those transition shades. You want to make sure everything is blended seamlessly. You don't want any patchiness, and I want my eyes to be dark. You can already see the difference that made just by going over with the gray one more time. It makes everything come together. Now for the fun part. This is the Tarte Rainforest by the Sea palette. You can see I'm already excited about it. This is a foil shadow. It is the most intense silver I have ever used in my entire life. Just a little dab will do ya. And I'm putting that on my eyelids. Then I'm sweeping some on the palm of my hand. This is good because the oils from your hand will actually make eyeshadow show up better. And I'm using a brush so that my fat part of my finger didn't get all in the corner of my eye, and I'm sweeping that on to get the inner corners. Going back into the Dose of Colors palette in that glittery black. I go on top of any darker colors I used after I put the lighter shimmer on, because you kind of lose that intensity once the shimmer goes on, and you don't want to lose all that work you just did. It also helps to go back and add to the contour of your eye you created. Then dragging everything in on top of the shimmer because again, you kind of lost it. Now I happen to be wearing a purple dress that evening, so you can use whatever shade you want, but I used the darker purple shimmer from the Mary Kay palette, going about halfway in to line my lower lash line. Then I went in the Lorac Pro palette 2 with that matte purple. Didn't go quite as far in, probably about a quarter to a third. And then finally that black glitter again, going just right outside the eye, not as far in as that previous purple, and making sure to connect it with the shadow on the outer V of the eye. Now I'm contouring. It'll look a little muddy at first, but stick with the process. I did blend it all together, and you can see how I'm lifting up. Whenever you contour or blush, you never want to drag down. You always want to have that lifted effect. Getting my hairline, my jawline, making sure all of that is snatched and ready to go. Then the same collab with Karen E. She also had highlighters. This one's called Bathe. It's a very light pink that works perfectly with this look. Getting my cheekbones, my cupid's bow, my nose, my forehead right above my brow bone. That's going to look really good in photos. And then my chin, because why not? Back in the Mary Kay palette, using that blush called Shy, and getting the apples of my cheeks, and then on my nose. Again, with the concealer, you can take the blush up towards the temple and add to the lifted effect I keep talking about. My lips get chapped pretty easily, so here I'm using a lip conditioner. I put on fake eyelashes and mascara to save time off camera. Then I'm sweeping away any fallout because that silver is so intense. Back in the Mary Kay palette, I'm using a white shimmer shadow, and this is going to highlight my inner corner, especially right there. You can see the difference that made. And I'm highlighting my brow bone. This is going to look good in photos as well. Then I'm taking a medium nude lip liner by Mary Kay. I do my bottom lip first, and then I draw an X, and then connect the corners. Then after that, I kind of smoosh my lips together to blend that in. The Too Faced Sugar Daddy lipstick. This is a cream lipstick. It's the most beautiful nude. Smooshing my lips together to blend that in. Last but not least, we need setting spray, so I'm taking this Urban Decay D-Slick. I kind of did a little jumpy dance for this. I don't know why. Yes, queen, yes. Amazing. Fan yourself. Beautiful. Just like that. And this is the final look. Let me know if you recreate it.